Another special type of right triangle is going to be a 30, 60, 90. Now, we've talked about 45, 45, 90s, also known as isosceles right triangles, where each leg is equal to themselves or equal to each other, and then the hypotenuse was radical 2 times one of the legs. It's a little bit longer, not quite 1.5 times, but radical 2 times. In a 30, 60, 90, there's a relationship that exists as well. Now, if you think about it, 45, 45, 90 equal angles, leg opposite, are equal to each other. 30, 60, 90, we don't have any equal angles. Meaning what? We don't have any equal sides either. But we want to classify. A hypotenuse is still a hypotenuse, and a hypotenuse will always be a hypotenuse in every right triangle. But the two legs are going to be different lengths. One will be across from the 30-degree angle, or opposite of it. The other one will be opposite the 60-degree angle. So we're going to classify them. If it's across from the 30-degree angle, we'll call that the short leg, across from it. If it's across from the 60-degree angle, we'll call it the long leg. Hypotenuse is still here, across from the right angle. Or this scenario, here's your 30-degree angle, short leg here. Here's your long leg across from the 60-degree angle, hypotenuse. Now, on a 30, 60, 90, there's going to be times where you're going to be given one side. Now, that was a drawback with Pythagorean's theorem. Given one side, you couldn't do it. You had to have two. 30, 60, 90, you're going to get relationships where you can get away with just having one side. You can find everything else. So let's look at our relationships and how they... Oh, shoot. Knock something over. My bad. We'll look at our relationships and then use them to help us find missing pieces in these triangles. So a relationship is this. There are two of them. In a 30, 60, 90, the hypotenuse will be 2 times the short leg. The biggest misconception people have is, well, since 60 is greater than 30, the long leg's 2 times the short leg. That's wrong. It's this. The hypotenuse here is 2 times the short leg. The long leg is equal to the short leg times the square root of 3. So everything is dependent on the short leg and us finding the short leg. Everything. Hypotenuse equals 2 times short leg. Long leg equals short leg times the square root of 3. So let's say I gave you this right triangle. So I'll give you a second to figure out which side's a short side, or short leg, which one's a long leg. And now I'm going to give you a measurement. I will give you this side as X. So what have I given you? You're right, I gave you the short leg. Fill in the rest. And instead of saying, well, I don't know, we look at our relationships. The hypotenuse equals 2 times the short leg. Right angle, hypotenuse. Short leg is X, so my hypotenuse would be 2 times X. All right? Long leg, located over here, says it's equal to the short leg, that's X in this case, times the square root of 3. X radical 3. We'll write our answers in simplest radical form, so yes, we still have to recall how to rationalize things and work that magic. So now let's try some examples with this. Let's say I gave you the following. Let's say I gave you this right triangle. We'll call this 60 degrees here. I need you to find X. I need you to find Y. Oh, you're right. I need to give you one more piece of information. So let's do that. So we're trying to find X, we're trying to find Y, and I'm going to give you this side is 22. So what side is that? Well, that's the hypotenuse. And as we wrote down, everything's based on knowing the short leg. So I can't find the long leg yet. Why? Because I don't know the short leg. So let's look at the other relationship. The hypotenuse, 22, is equal to 2 times the short leg, which is labeled as x in this case. Find x. So our short leg is 11 units long. All right, now how do we find y? Well, since that's the short leg, y equals short leg 11 times the square root of 3. Done, done. It can be that easy, absolutely. Try this one. So I've given you these two things. I'm going to give you this here. I need you to find x. I need you to find y. Aha. So, what have you been supplied with in this scenario? Well, let's look. If that's 30, that's got to be 60. So we have the long leg right now. We got to find short. We got to find hypotenuse. We got long leg. Is there a long leg hypotenuse relationship? No. So we got to go with the long leg and the short leg. So let's write it out. Long leg, 15, is equal to the short leg, x, times the square root of 3. Will there be some shortcuts you guys can pick up on these? Yeah, the more practice you have with them, there will be. Once you figure it out and you get good with it, roll with them. So what do I got to do to get x by itself? Well, divide by the square root of 3. What you do to one side, do to the other. Right now we see this. But as everybody knows, we can't leave a radical in the denominator. We must rationalize our denominator by, yes, I need to hear you say it. I thought I heard it. Yep, that's right. Make the next perfect root. These are square roots. We need to make the next perfect square. Multiply by the radical 3 on bottom, radical 3 on top. What's that give us? 15 radical 3 over square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3. We are not done, my friends. Outside the radical, it's really a 15. Times something, 3. Since it's multiplication up here, we can reduce. Divide by 3. We get 5 radical 3 for x. What is x? The short leg. All right, how do you find the long leg? Well, you don't. They gave it to us. How do you find the hypotenuse? Hypotenuse says take the short leg and multiply it by 2. 2 times 5 radical 3 done. There's your hypotenuse, y. There's your short leg, x, in this example. Let's try 2 more examples, shall we? And then we can move on from here. So, in this example, we will have labeling there. We'll call this 60, not drawn to scale. Give you a 10 radical 3 right there. Now, I'm not going to put an x and y in there. Sometimes the directions will say find the missing sides. Find the rest of the triangle. Solve the triangle, if you will. Meaning what? Find everything that's missing. Everything you can find. We know it's a 30. Actually, 60. I can find this. No, it's got to be 30. So there, we found one thing. So let's find the rest. What do we have? We got the long leg. So we know long equals short radical 3. We absolutely know there's no long leg hypotenuse relationship. So plug in what we know. 10 radical 3 equals short, don't know it. So pick a variable. X, good choice. Solve for x. Divide by the square root of 3. Since this is multiplication, cancels each other out. X equals 10. What is that? Short leg. Well, if you know the short leg, how do you find the hypotenuse? Multiply by 2. We got 10. So our hypotenuse is 10. So have we solved it? Well, let's see. We found the short leg to be 10. I said 10. I meant to say 20. Found the hypotenuse to be 20. Are there any other pieces of that triangle that aren't labeled? The answer is nope. We did it. We solved it. One more time so you get a shot at it. Let's go one more now. Last one. I would like you to solve this right triangle. I will give you this. We'll call this C, B, A. I'll give you 30 and a 2 radical 7. Okay. Solve the triangle. Well, I know this is 60. Bare minimum, I at least get a point. Let's figure out the rest. What do we got? We got short leg opposite the 30-degree angle. Okay? So, everything's based off the short leg, so we can work our magic with this. So let's start with hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is equal to 2 times the short. So 2 times 2 radical 7. The 2's are on the outside, so we can multiply very easily. 2 times 2, 4. Our hypotenuse is equal to 4 radical 7. Good. All right, so now let's find the long. And what's our relationship? Oops. Long, there we go. Long leg is equal to the short times the square root of 3. We know the short, opposite the 30-degree angle. So we're going to take 2 radical 7 times the square root of 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we should know that when we're multiplying, they get the same index. We multiply the radicands. The 2 on the outside is what it is. Stays out there. So our long leg is 2 times the square root of 21. I'm going to label these just to make sure I have everything covered. 4 radical 7. 2 radical 21. No more pieces of my triangle are unlabeled. The triangle is solved. Thank you very much.